This is a hamster. To most of us, it's a starter pet. A small, vibrating ball of fluff that lives in a cage, runs on a plastic wheel to nowhere, and eventually dies in a traumatizing way that teaches 7-year-olds about the cold embrace of mortality. But beneath that adorable, twitching nose lies a creature that was only domesticated in the 1930s. Your pet hamster is basically a wild animal with a roommate agreement. They are the evolutionary equivalent of a hoarder with a gym membership and a very questionable approach to parenting. They are high-performance survivalists designed for some of the harshest environments on Earth. The name hamster comes from the German word hamstern, which literally translates to hoarder. And they earned it. In the wild, a hamster's life is a constant heist movie. They have biological backpacks that extend all the way back to their hips. They aren't just eating, they're transporting. They can travel miles in a single night, vacuuming up every seed and nut like a fuzzy Roomba, then dumping it all in a secret underground vault. When you see your pet looking like it's having an allergic reaction to a bag of sunflower seeds, it's just honoring the ancient tradition of preparing for the apocalypse. To eat all those hard seeds, you need the right tools. Rodents have a superpower that is also a curse. Their teeth never stop growing. Ever. In the wild, this is great. If you break a tooth on a tough nutshell, it grows back in a month. But in a cage? If they don't have something to gnaw on, those teeth will keep growing until they seal the mouth shut. If that doesn't stop them, they can actually grow upward and puncture their own brain. Evolution basically gave them two options: keep chewing or your own face will betray you. It's a metal way to live. Most people stick a hamster in a tiny plastic box and call it a day. But in the wild, specifically the deserts of Syria or the frozen plains of Russia, hamsters are master architects. They build complex underground bunkers with dedicated rooms, a nursery for the kids, a pantry for the horde, a bedroom, and a specific bathroom area. They're cleaner than most college dorms. These burrows have multiple exits so that if a predator comes through the front door, the hamster can vanish out the back like a ghost. This is why they seem stressed in small cages. They're biologically programmed to want a multi-room mansion with an escape plan.
You know that squeaky plastic wheel at 3 a.m.? The one that sounds like a rusted gate in a horror movie? There's a biological mandate behind that noise. Hamsters are the marathon runners of the rodent world, but they aren't running for fitness. They're running for their lives. In the wild, a Syrian hamster doesn't just scuttle. They forage up to 5 miles in a single night. To put that in perspective, if you were hamster-sized, that's like running a half marathon every single night just to find a snack. They can hit speeds of 6 miles per hour. If a hamster were scaled up to human size, it would need to consume about 10,000 calories a day, roughly 4 times what an average person eats, just to keep its heart from exploding. They don't run on the wheel because they're bored. They run because their DNA is screaming at them that the nearest seed is 3 hills over and a hawk is already timing its dive. When you see them on that wheel, you're looking at a creature trapped in a perpetual, high-speed chase against extinction. But here's the kicker: they're doing all of this while being legally blind. A hamster can see maybe 2 to 3 inches in front of its face. Beyond that, the world is a blurry, terrifying watercolor painting where every shadow is a predator. Imagine navigating a forest where you can't see the trees. Instead, they live in a world of tactile 3D mapping. They use whiskers that can detect changes in air currents and scent glands on their bellies that act like a biological Sharpie. They leave a trail of musky breadcrumbs everywhere they go. It's a literal GPS made of smells. This is why they seem to reboot when you deep clean their cage. To you, it's a fresh, lemon-scented sanctuary. To them, you've just firebombed their entire map. You've scrubbed away their history and their orientation. A perfectly clean cage is a sensory deprivation tank. They aren't happy it's clean. They're frantically trying to figure out if they've been teleported to an alien planet. Now for the part they don't put on the pet store flyers. We like to project human emotions onto pets, but hamster moms have a very pragmatic, almost cold-blooded view of survival. In the wild, the desert doesn't care about cute. If a mother hamster feels the burrow has been compromised by a predator, or if she realizes the food supply is mathematically insufficient for the litter, she triggers a brutal plan B. She has two choices. Option A, stuff the babies into her massive cheek pouches and run for a new hole. Option B, she eats them. It sounds like a tragedy, but in the brutal logic of the desert, it's a recycling program. If those pups aren't going to survive the winter, the mother reclaims those calories. She takes the energy back so she can live to try again in a few weeks. It's not evil, it's peak biological efficiency. She is a tiny, furry survival computer making a hard drive backup. Finally, there's the false death, the ultimate evolutionary party trick that has led to 1,000 backyard funerals. If a hamster's environment gets too cold, usually below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, they don't just shiver. They enter torpor. This isn't a cozy nap, it's a metabolic shutdown. Their heart rate plummets from a frantic 300 beats per minute to a ghostly 10. Their breathing becomes so shallow it's invisible to the naked eye. They become cold to the touch and totally unresponsive. Think of it as low battery mode. They are waiting for the sun to come back. Tragically, because they look and feel exactly like a corpse, countless hamsters have been buried while they were actually just waiting for someone to turn up the thermostat. So, the next time you look at that tiny ball of fluff sleeping in a pile of wood shavings, remember, you're looking at a blind, hoarding, marathon running, potentially cannibalistic architect who is currently vibrating at a frequency we can't understand. They aren't just pets. They're tiny survivalist lunatics. In a world that feels increasingly chaotic, there's something almost respectable about a creature whose only goal is to fill its cheeks. Thanks for watching.